Item Number SCP-2030, Object Class Keter, Special Containment Procedures. Foundation-operated web analysis bot Delta-09, Laugh, is to be kept in constant operation and checked for defects twice a week by a Level 2 staff member familiar with its operation. When functional, the bot will search a wide range of file sharing and video streaming websites for SCP-2030 and remove any manifestations discovered. Finding and isolating SCP-2030's point of origin is considered a Delta-level priority. Efforts to locate the studio where SCP-2030 is filmed is ongoing. Description: SCP-2030 is an anomalous phenomenon that manifests as a television series. The medium through which SCP-2030 manifests changes depending on the most popular format currently in use. As of 2014, SCP-2030 most commonly inserts itself in automated DVD rental kiosks, file-sharing websites, and paid on-demand video streaming services. Prior to 2012, SCP-2030 commonly manifested as a DVD set in video rental stores, and as VHS tapes prior to 2003. Thus far, no reliable evidence that SCP-2030 manifestations took place prior to the year 1993 have been discovered. However, 38 seasons of programming are known to exist, implying that SCP-2030 had been active to some degree since 1976. The series title typically appears as Laugh is Fun, although variations on this name, such as Laugh is Life or Laugh is Laugh, are not uncommon. The series has no corresponding box art. It mimics art from other television series, often causing viewers to select it, mistaking it for another program. The show is a hidden camera comedy series, showcasing the candid responses of various people to bizarre, disturbing, and often anomalous situations. Episodes usually run between 10 and 12 minutes, and feature introductory and closing segments that bookend the hidden camera footage. No episode to date has had an end credit roll. SCP-2030-1 is a presumably human adult male that serves as the show's host, providing introductory and closing commentary, as well as appearing to victims to reveal that they are being filmed for a television series. SCP-2030-1 is invariably shown wearing a royal blue three-piece suit with black and white wing-tipped shoes. Due to the way in which scenes are filmed, SCP-2030-1 is only seen from the neck down, making identification difficult. He refers to himself as Laffy McLafferson. Individuals appearing on the show often react to the events as they witness with panic or distress, but appear immediately calmed upon the appearance of SCP-2030-1. This is true even when the individual in question sustains significant bodily harm or witnessed a particularly traumatic event. Additionally, most recorded individuals seem to express some degree of familiarity with SCP-2030-1, with some claiming to be fans of the show. Research into whether SCP-2030 uses its viewership as its victim selection pool is ongoing. Episodes follow a particular theme that each prank segment alludes to. SCP-2030-1 introduces these themes at the beginning of each episode in an as-of-yet unidentified film studio, while standing atop a bright yellow stage decorated with oversized geometric shapes of various colors. Episode themes vary from the mundane, such as the beach, pets, and candy, to the strange and violent, such as mail fraud, arson, and terrorism. SCP-2030-1 delivers a similar speech at the end of each program to close out the show. At the end of each episode, the camera pulls back and around from SCP-2030-1 stage to show the studio audience, which is usually comprised of the individuals featured in the episode. During this time, the words "filmed in front of a studio audience," created in partnership with WTF are superimposed over the footage in white text. Research into the identities of the people featured in the show's prank segments has revealed that they were all persons who were officially documented as having died or gone missing in the year they appeared on the program. Thorough investigations into the deaths of SCP-2030 participants have revealed a number of inconsistencies and contradictions in matters concerning the circumstances of the deaths. Additionally, exhumations of the individual remains have revealed that all recorded participants' bodies are currently missing. The general consensus among researchers assigned to SCP-2030 is that victims are likely abducted after their use in the show, with their disappearances covered up when possible. However, no concrete evidence connecting individual deaths with SCP-2030 besides the show's footage has yet been found. Addendum: the following are examples of pranks featured on the program. Season 24, Year 2000, Episode theme Swelling. Individuals involved: Macy Gersom and Kyle Parker, killed by a hit-and-run driver on September 18, 2000. Scene description: an elderly woman sits on a park bench feeding nearby pigeons with seed from a bag. Gershom and Parker, a couple, walk down a park path and approach the woman. Once the two come within approximately 1.5 meters of the elderly woman, a swarm of pigeons fly into the elderly woman's mouth, causing her stomach to become severely engorged and quickly rupture. The couple expressed great distress at the event until SCP-2030-1 emerges from the elderly woman's open stomach cavity, at which point Gershom and Parker appear relieved. Season 21, 1997. Episode theme: Margaret Thatcher. Individuals involved: Doris Carter, died of ovarian cancer, February 24, 1997. Scene description: Mrs. Carter walks into her kitchen and opens a cabinet door, out of which falls a large mass of flesh. As Carter screams, the mass grows and shapes itself into a severely disproportional facsimile of former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Margaret Thatcher, with its head twice as large as its torso. Carter rushes to leave the room, but the Thatcher creature leaps onto her before she can escape. It extends its tongue into the woman's open mouth, and Thatcher faces of various sizes begin appearing across Carter's skin. The faces proceed to recite Thatcher's April 1986 speech on the bombing of Libya in perfect unison. SCP-2030-1 climbs out of a nearby cupboard and points to the hidden cameras. Mrs. Carter smiles, the creature's tongue still extended down her throat. Season 13, 1989. Episode theme: Squirrels. Individuals involved: Melissa and Travis England, disappeared, last seen May 12, 1989. Scene description: Mrs. England lies in bed next to a male figure, presumably Mr. England. A series of high-pitched squeaking noises are heard, and Mrs. England is awakened. She tells her husband to wake up, but he does not respond. She places her hand on his shoulder, but quickly draws it back with a shriek. His skin begins to undulate, as though something is moving underneath. A multitude of squirrels then burst from various places on his body, quickly filling the bed and crawling onto the woman. She rises to leave the room, but SCP-2030-1 walks in and turns on the light. He is accompanied by Mr. England, who has been skinned from head to foot, but gives no indication of feeling any discomfort. All three share a laugh and the segment ends. Season 13, 1989. Episode theme: Tracheostomies. Individuals involved: Gary Turman, Lindsay Turman, and their children died in a vehicular accident on April 28, 1989. Scene description: The four sit around a dinner table eating a meal. Mr. Turman begins coughing and gasping for air as if choking. As the others at the table begin to panic, a pair of slits appear in Turman's throat, allowing him to breathe. These slits quickly become nostrils, which rapidly grow into a full nose, which in turn becomes an entire second head, identical to Turman's original. This second head then sprouts a neck of its own, and the entire process repeats. This continues until 18 necks and heads have sprouted from the original, at which point SCP-2030-1 steps out from underneath the table. Everyone present erupts into raucous laughter, including all 19 of Mr. Turman's heads. Season 37, 2013. Episode theme: Cephalopods. Individuals involved: Rebecca Nash, surgeons unidentified, died of complications in child delivery on November 2, 2013. Hospital records show no evidence of anomalous activity during birth. Scene description: A team of obstetricians perform a cesarean section procedure on Miss Nash, who is in labor. The team comment on the size of the child's cranium and the amount of hair present on it. Several minutes into the procedure, a doctor makes an exclamation of surprise and drops an instrument on the floor. Muffled vocalizations can be heard in the background. The rest of the staff begin to panic as the head emerges unassisted from Nash, causing her a great deal of pain. The child's head can be seen to resemble that of American television presenter Ryan Seacrest. The child sings "Row, row, row your boat" in a female voice as it continues to exit the mother. As more of its form emerges, the child can be seen to have the body of a fully grown octopus. Once the child fully exits Nash's body, it continues to sing as another head begins to emerge. 3 more children are produced in total, with the heads of celebrities Jack Nicholson, American film actor, Johnny Cash, American singer-songwriter, and Martin Freeman, British film actor, respectively, all with similar octopus bodies. Together the four sing "Row, row, row your boat" in 4-part harmony. SCP-2030-1 walks into the room and the show's jingle plays. SCP-2030-1 points to the hidden cameras in the room, prompting the obstetricians and Nash to begin laughing. The creatures on Nash's torso continue to sing. Nash then loses consciousness, presumably from blood loss. The following is a transcription of a typical speech delivered by SCP-2030-1 during one of the show's closing segments. Season 32, 2008. Episode theme: Printers. Transcription: Ha! What a ride, folks? We've seen printers that eat, eaters that print, and everything in between. Makes you appreciate the old clunker you have back in the office, doesn't it? No, printers may not always work when you want or need them to, but they sure make for some excellent comedy, and that's what we're all about here. Comedy. We're here to make you laugh. We hope you laughed. Thank you for laughing with us. That's what we're here about, doesn't it, folks? Come laugh with us again next time. Remember, laugh is fun. Good night, and laugh, just laugh. We love to make laugh. Make more for laughter so as to laugh. Laugh with us! Laugh with us! Studio audience joins in unison. Laugh with us! Laugh with us! Laugh with us! Laugh with us! Laugh, 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 and let us in. Note: video cuts off abruptly and a black screen is displayed for 30 seconds. Laughter and soft, wet noises can be heard in the background before the program ends. Before I begin this reading, there is a caution to be given here. SCP-1127 may contain sexual content described in the article, and it may not be safe for some viewers, and also it may not be safe for work either, so just letting you know before I start. Item number SCP-1127. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Instances of SCP-1127 identified outside of containment are to be investigated by Mobile Task Force MOVE-53, Ebert's Thumb. Physical copies of SCP-1127 are to be seized, and digital copies are to be captured on secure encrypted recording media before being neutralized. Any victims of full SCP-1127 exposure must be evaluated to determine if the effects of SCP-1127 have rendered them an unacceptable threat to the general public. Those deemed an acceptable risk are to be treated with Class A amnesiacs and released. Note: amnesiacs have no effect on the symptoms of SCP-1127 exposure. Those that cannot be released back into the population will be reclassed as D-Class personnel or terminated at the Site Director's discretion. Contained copies of SCP-1127 are to be kept in a secure media vault at Site. Instances of SCP-1127 shall only be viewed on devices approved by the Site Director within Site. Secure Viewing Room. Instances of SCP-1127 shall only be viewed in their entirety by D-Class subjects as part of an approved experiment. Foundation personnel should avoid unnecessary exposure and log any instance of viewing SCP-1127. Any personnel who have logged over 15 minutes cumulative lifetime viewing of any version of SCP-1127 must cease working with SCP-1127 and be assigned to other duties. Description: SCP-1127 is a series of short films ranging between 23 and 42 minutes in length. To date, copies of 3 different films have been recovered and 1 film has been identified but not yet contained. The films have been designated SCP-1127-1, -2, -3, and -4. It is unknown how many more films in the SCP-1127 series have yet to be identified and recovered by the Foundation. Each film is composed primarily of scenes clipped from other movies and shorts with additional video from various other sources. Sound and dialogue have been added or modified, and a narrator character unique to each film appears, fully integrated into the clips comprising the film, regardless of the original source of the material. The narrator provides commentary and occasionally interacts with objects and characters within the recycled footage. Anomalous properties present after a cumulative 20 minutes of exposure to the contents of any single film in the SCP-1127 series. Effects do not present when audio and video are perceived separately. Each film in the series produces a different effect on the viewer, but in each case the effect is a permanent disruption of normal behavior patterns, altering emotional reactions to various stimuli. Description of SCP-1127-1. Initial appearance: SCP-1127-1 first appeared at the Movies 10 Cineplex in New York. SCP-1127-1 had been inserted into the first hour-half of exits were blocked by persons unknown and approximately people were exposed. Length: 23 minutes. Title: Were Clowns Always Yellow? Number 5. Narrator: a middle-aged man wearing an SS uniform including a holstered pistol. His face is obscured by elaborate clown makeup. Identified video sources: The Sound of Music, 1965, The Night Porter, 1974, The Day the Clown Cried, 1972, Surf Nazis Must Die, 1987, archival footage from the World War II era. Sample narration: when our lives become the joke, humor becomes a war crime. The punchline is always death, and to get it is to abandon the pretense that getting it matters. Laugh at the reality that is laughing at you. Narrator draws his pistol and shoots in the back of the head. Effects from exposure: After exposure to SCP-1127-1, subjects were generally considered to be the most humorous thing they ever seen. Afterwards, subject will express disturbance and disgust at any communication normally intended to be humorous. Most jokes will be seen as offensive, and videos of comedians and comedies will cause distress or revulsion. One D-Class subject had to be physically restrained when shown an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus after exposure. Conversely, communications that might normally be cause of distress prior to exposure, autopsy photos, graphic war footage, videos of public suicide will be seen as amusing or funny. Conclusions: victims of SCP-1127-1 exposure are deemed safe to re-enter the general population after administration of Class A amnesiacs. Description of SCP-1127-2. Initial appearance on a copy of SCP-1127-2 was uploaded to .com and registered views before exposure was contained with a DMCA notice. Foundation agents tracked the origin to a proxy server in Guam. Investigation continues as to its origin. Length: 37 minutes. Title: Crazy Where? You Are? Numbered 0. Narrator: a female child approximately 12 years old wearing a blue dress and a black domino mask. She carries a teddy bear that she slowly dismembers with a small knife during the course of the film. Identified video sources: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, a Three Stooges short, They Stooged to Conga, 1943, Faces of Death, 1978, La Planète Sauvage, 1973, various animated sources from 1930 until including Bugs Bunny Nips to Nips, 1944, and the Tom Jerry short, The Midnight Snack, 1941. Sample narration: whispering during a clip of Bugs Bunny Nips to Nips. What are you afraid of? Violence? Afraid that violence is the answer? Or is it the question? Ask the question you are afraid of. You already know the answer. Pain doesn't hurt. Effects from viewing: after exposure, subjects will generally express no strong emotional response to SCP-1127-2 at all. Subjects also lose interest and emotional connections to things, activities, and people they had prior to exposure. Subjects will also react to dangerous and hostile environments with disinterest to the point that they will ignore immediate threats to their personal safety. Subjects also express a marked decrease in empathy and may injure or harm others out of curiosity. Conclusions: victims of SCP-1127-2 exposure are unsafe to re-enter the general population due to the risk they pose to others. Description of SCP-1127-3. Initial appearance: during an illegal UHF transmitter off the coast of Michigan broadcast a loop of SCP-1127-3 for approximately 72 hours. Foundation involvement occurred subsequent to cessation of broadcast. People were found to be affected. No copy of SCP-1127-3 has yet been recovered. Length: 30 minutes, approximate. Title: All? Comes with Yesterday. Number X. Narrator: a woman approximately in her mid-30s wearing an Elizabethan ball gown. She wears a metallic golden mask in the form of a rat's face. When she is in profile, the mask appears to be stitched to the side of her head. Some blood is visible. Identified video sources: RoboCop, 1987, Eraserhead, 1977, The Ten Commandments, 1956, Natural Born Killers, 1994, Dawn of the Dead, 1978, and Apocalypse Now, 1979. Sample narration: monotone, 3-second beat between words. Desire, aspire, require, conspire, acquire, retire, expire, choir, pyre, liar, 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 liar. Continue saying liar for several minutes. Effects from viewing: after exposure, subjects express an extreme discomfort with technological artifacts. They dislike any object that has been machined, processed, or otherwise manufactured. This applies not only to things generally considered technological, but to almost anything that is a result of human intervention in the environment, including clothing and anything beyond the most simple tool use. This effect extends to abstract concepts as well, in particular to concepts of money, personal property, and political organization. Conclusions: victims of SCP-1127-3 exposure pose little danger, but are unable to reintegrate into modern society. After administration of Class A amnesiacs, any individuals to be released must be placed in an institutional environment or be relocated to, or they can be assimilated into the population. Initial appearance from to Copies of SCP-1127-4 have been inserted as a special feature on the DVD stocked at the Adult Bookstore in Canada. Length: 42 minutes. Title: Why Are You Crying? Number -1. Narrator: male in his early 20s, shirtless, wearing black leather pants and a leather mask obscuring his face. As the film progresses, welts and bruises appear on the narrator's torso without apparent cause. Identified video sources: Cremaster 3, 2002, Dog, 1971, A Dirty Shame, 2004, Lolita, 1962, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, 1975, Salo Ole 120, Garonet di Sodoma, 1975. Various videos available on the internet including sample narration. Do you want to close your eyes and run to mommy? Well, run to her then. Run to her and tell her all those sick things that make you want to puke and whip it out and jerk off, while the warm shit smears across your naked skin, and she'll kiss it and make it all better because mommy knows what you want, what you always wanted, and she'll give it to you hard if only you had the balls to ask, because mommy loves you and love ain't nothing but sex misspelled. Effects from viewing. After exposure, subjects will no longer be able to attain sexual arousal as they would prior to exposure. Anything they would have found erotic or stimulating prior to exposure will become, at best, an object of disinterest, and occasionally it will become a source of revulsion. Instead, the subject will have acquired new and apparently random subjects and/or actions they consider erotic and/or stimulating. All subjects lose the ability to be stimulated by fantasizing or use of pornography and must actively engage in their acquired fixations in order to become aroused. New sexual interests may be relatively benign, such as sadomasochism, coprophagia, acrotomophilia, partialism, klismophilia, mesophilia, voyeurism, exhibitionism. Potentially harmful or criminal, asphyxiophilia, zoosadism, or actively dangerous and likely to cause harm to the subject or others, biastophilia, pedophilia, necrophilia, ponophilia, and voreirophilia. Conclusions. Dispositions of victims of SCP-1127-4 is dependent on the evaluation of their acquired paraphilia. Because of the necessity of the subject to act on these desires to achieve any form of sexual function, any subject expressing a paraphilia that requires a non-consensual partner or a partner that cannot legally consent and/or risk actual permanent physical harm or death of the subject and/or partner shall be deemed unsuitable for release. SCP-857 is a section of the Amazon rainforest measuring 1 square kilometer. Plants native to the region grow normally in this area, but animal life appeared to instinctively avoid it. SCP-857 is populated entirely by what appears to be human organs and body parts capable of ambulation and basic thought. The source of these specimens are currently unknown, and they will hereafter be referred to as SCP-857-1. Specimens of 857-1 are non-hostile towards humans and vary wildly in form and function. See Specimen Log 857. These mobile body parts appear to have been crudely altered to allow for movement and consumption of food. For example, most specimens do not possess an actual working mouth, but a large artificial orifice in the flesh that superficially resembles a mouth. The method by which specimens of SCP-857-1 digest food is currently unknown. Although SCP-857-1 are naturally incapable of reproduction, no decrease in the number of observed specimens have been noted. Exploration is currently underway in an effort to discover the source of SCP-857-1. Specimen Log 857. SCP-857-1A. Each specimen of 1A is composed primarily from a human head. Unnatural bone growths have given 1A 2 rudimentary arms and 6 legs. 1A moves in a manner similar to that of a crab. 1A specimens are scavengers and have been observed consuming carrion left by predators. SCP-857-1B. Each specimen of 1B is composed of 1 human vein. 1B specimens move in a manner similar to that of worms. 1B specimens are herbivores and have been observed eating plants fallen onto the forest floor. SCP-857-1C. Each specimen of 1C is composed of human brain tissue. 1C specimens move similarly to slugs and leave a slimy trail behind them. 1C instances have been observed to consume SCP-857-1B specimens. SCP-857-1D. Each specimen of 1D is composed primarily of the lower intestine. 1D specimens are aquatic and reside in a river that runs through SCP-857. 1D specimens have been observed to consume underwater plants. SCP-857-1E. Each specimen of 1E is composed of a human spine. 1E moves in the manner of a centipede using irregular bone growths. 1E specimens are predators and have been observed hunting and consuming specimens of 857-1A. SCP-857-1F. Each specimen of 1F is composed from a human heart. 1F is immobile. 1F is parasitic and has been observed to latch onto specimens of SCP-857-1C, sucking their blood in the manner of a leech. SCP-857-1G. Each specimen of 1G is composed primarily from a patch of human skin, with 2 unnatural bone growths enforcing a general shape. Specimens move by gliding from tree to tree. 1G are predators and will hunt SCP-857-1C and 1A in large swarms. SCP-857-1H. Each specimen of 1H is composed primarily from a human rib cage. Specimens move in a manner similar to spiders and reside in the treetops. Specimens of 1H are predatory, often leaping on and consuming passing SCP-857-1C. SCP-857-1I. Each specimen of 1I is composed primarily from a human head. 1I are identical to SCP-857-1A with the exception of a more pronounced arms and the presence of opposable thumbs. 1I specimens are fairly intelligent and reside in simple tribal structures. SCP-1592 is a television program entitled Paradise Television, which has demonstrated the capability to cause mental and physical abnormalities. It has the general format of a televangelist program, but discusses values and concepts unusual for such a program. The host of SCP-1592 is a middle-aged Caucasian male who refers to himself as Pastor Harris. SCP-1592 consists of an as-of-yet unknown number of 15-minute broadcasts, all of which show Pastor Harris sitting on an armchair, looking directly at the camera while delivering a sermon. When an individual watches a broadcast of SCP-1592, they will become interested in the values and concepts it discusses, regardless of previous religious or moral orientations. Further viewing of SCP-1592 will result in the individual gradually becoming obsessed with SCP-1592 and neglecting other social obligations in order to continue viewing it. Affected individuals will often record broadcasts of 1592 and watch them multiple times. After the affected individual has viewed a number of broadcasts ranging from 20 to 30, physical alteration will begin. This takes place over a period of 1 to 2 weeks. If the victim is stopped from watching SCP-1592 during this period, these alterations will cease, but any alterations already caused by SCP-1592 will remain. Initial physical alterations include the growth of additional sensory organs, such as eyes, nose, etc., on various parts of the body, pigment of the skin radically changing in color, alteration of the vocal cords preventing normal human speech, elongation or shortening of the limbs, fusion of body parts such as fingers and toes, etc., growth of non-human extremities such as mandibles and pincers, etc. Later physical alterations often involve morphing of the body into non-humanoid forms, usually resulting in immobility. It is unknown if the victim is aware at this point, as none have responded to attempts at communication. The following are transcribed records from SCP-2030 broadcast by D-Class personnel who were assigned to view them. What is wrong with the generation of today? They don't understand sacrifice, haven't felt His grace on their skin. I hope that my viewers understand sacrifice. I pray to Him for that every night. For you, for your souls. If you have a pet, it will play its part. You will share His hunger in the coming days, and the pet will sacrifice for you. If you do not have one to sacrifice and suffer for you, worry not, my children. Worry not, for He will provide. I have a message from a faithful child here, from Jenny in Colorado. She watches His word every night, and the carapace is growing. Jenny writes, Pastor Harris, sometimes I scream from the pain he gives me. I cannot feel my legs. Jenny, if I may address you for a moment, what you are feeling is the pain that He too has suffered for us in the black. You are one of the faithful, Jenny, and so you are worthy to take His image. This pain is simply sacrificed, as He has sacrificed for you. Stay strong, Jenny. I have stood in the ashes of society and walked through the bones of dead planets. Have you seen these things? He has seen fit to grant you these pleasures? Not yet, but the form is changing. Perhaps you slide along the floor like a slug, or drag yourself along the floor as indecipherable. Soon, His eyes will wrinkle in benevolence at you. In faithfulness you will find reward. In sanctity you will find His image. He has many faces and many maws, and they look down upon you, judging, waiting, loving. Good night. SCP-1386 is a white Good Humor brand ice cream truck in poor condition and lacking any images or descriptions of the product it sells. The van appears to be sapient as it drives without a person behind the wheel. After the investigation of March 15, 2012, it has been concluded that none of the doors or windows on the vehicle open through conventional means. The van plays instrumental melodies of Pop Goes the Weasel and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star 24 hours a day, alternating between the two every 4 hours. On occasion, it has been known to play a version of Greensleeves, but will immediately switch to another song when in the presence of customers. SCP-1386 has a thin slot in the middle of its driver's side door, which only becomes visible when it dispenses the various ice cream products it sells. Along with the ice cream, the van slides out a small slip of receipt paper with a price written on it, which has been described as very sloppy but legible handwriting. The van receives payment through the same slot it delivers ice cream from, and will drive away as soon as it is paid. The prices and flavors of the ice cream product it sells fluctuate daily, but it never runs out of its stocks of items. Notable tests of the van are as follows. March 30th, 2012. Doctors R and D each requested one cookies and cream smoothie, and they were dispensed as asked. However, one smoothie was marked with a handwritten M and the other a handwritten G. The receipt was for $4.89 and was paid without incident. April 1st, 2012. Dr. D requested one Napolitan ice cream sandwich. After several seconds, the van slid out what appeared to be a meat and cheese sandwich with tomato. The sandwich was made out of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream, respectively. The receipt given said April Fools, and the van drove away before Dr. D inquired about payment. April 12th, 2012. Dr. D asked for a single scoop vanilla ice cream cone and a waffle cone. The product was dispensed as asked with a receipt that read 72 cents and was paid without incident. April 17th, 2012. Dr. F requested one peach push pop and received it along with a receipt of $16.27. Dr. F expressed disapproval at the price for the ice cream and refused to pay the full amount, instead paying a total of $3.75 in quarters. When Dr. F attempted to walk away, the van opened the slot in its doors to an approximate height of 6 feet and dragged Dr. F inside of it by use of a large and rusted steel trap. The van then returned its slots to its former size and proceeded to spew out a pink substance from its slot for 5 straight minutes before then driving away, with no further incident. Upon inspection of the pink substance, it was found to consist of blood, skin tissue, and bone fragments whose DNA signature matched that of Dr. F. Due to the incident of April 17, 2012, all further attempts to interact with SCP-1386 must be through D-Class personnel. April 27, 2012. Personnel D asked the van for a cherry popsicle, adding, "with nuts." The van seemed to wait several seconds, then dispensed a single cherry popsicle unwrapped with nuts embedded in the ice. The receipt given read, $2.20, you're nuts, and D was recorded as chuckling as he read the paper. The van was paid without incident. April 30th, 2012. Personnel D requested a Caesar salad flavor popsicle. After a few moments, the van dispensed a popsicle with an off-green coloration and was noted to taste of lightly dressed lettuce with a hint of croutons. The receipt was for $4.56 and was paid without incident. May 4th, 2012. Personnel D asked for a dark chocolate fudge pop and received it with a receipt of $1.38, paid for it with 2 single-dollar bills. After receiving payment, the van made a sound akin to a cash register from within what is presumably the area in which the ice cream is stored, and then dispensed a small factory-wrapped package. There was no written indication of what was contained inside the package, but on the front there was a crudely drawn image of what appeared to be various coins, all of American currency. The van drove off once the package was dispensed. At the urging of Dr. J, D was then assigned to inspect the content of the package. The package was found to have a total of 62 cents in American currency. When the coins were considered safe, D asked if he could keep the change. Request was denied. May 10th, 2012. Personnel D asked for an ice cream Kinder Egg, which was dispensed along with a receipt for $3.87 and was paid without incident. The Kinder Egg appeared similar to the kind popular in Europe, though made of ice cream instead of chocolate. D reported the exterior to be made of coffee ice cream and the interior of French vanilla. However, there was no toy inside as ordinary Kinder Eggs have. Instead, there was a small slip of parchment paper that read, "I owe you one toy." May 16, 2012. Personnel D requested the following, in order: 1 cherry ice lolly, 1 cherry ice pop, 1 cherry popsicle, and 1 cherry flavored drink, frozen. The van made what D described as a real unnerving sound like someone skinning a cat in reverse, for several seconds before flinging out of its slot-red sticks of unwrapped ice, shattering them on the pavement. Moments later, it dispensed a large styrofoam cup full of a frozen green liquid. D was noted as asking the van, "What do I owe you?" and was given no response before the van drove off. Upon inspection of the shards of ice from the first 3 sticks, it was discovered that the frozen substance was made up of 2 parts water, 1 part arsenic, and red food dye. The styrofoam cup was found to contain an unknown substance with a melting point so high it is impossible to thaw out with current technology. The substance in the cup are currently being withheld for further examination. May 20th, 2012. A new procedure has been tested. Personnel D, mute but able to write, requested a vanilla cone and chocolate through use of pencil and paper. The request was raised to the area where the dispensing slot usually appears. After a full minute, the van opened another slot 3 inches lower than the normal one. A thin, flesh-colored appendage slid out of the slot to retrieve the paper before retreating and closing the slot. Moments later, the normal slot opened and the ice cream was received. The receipt was for 97 cents and was paid without incident. When questioned about the transaction, D responded in frantic sign language. It is transcribed as follows. "It was a hand, not human, 2 fingers and a thumb. It was bony like a dead body and it smelled dead." D refused to eat the ice cream that was received, claiming that they had lost their appetite. May 30th, 2012. Following the events of May 20th, 2012, Personnel D, who is not mute, was given the order to repeat the same test, writing the request on paper and giving it to the van. The van received the paper through a secondary slot by use of another flesh-colored appendage, and completed the transaction as requested. The receipt was for 86 cents and was paid without incident. When questioned about the transaction and the appendage in particular, D responded, "I don't see what B was getting all worked up about. It's just a hand, you know. There's probably just some guy in there handing out ice cream. Sure, it's weird, but what here isn't?" June 4th, 2012. Personnel D, also not mute, was given the order to write a new request on paper and give it to the van. The request was for a banana sundae with hot fudge. As in previous tests, the van accepted the paper through a secondary slot by use of its hand and processed the request. The receipt was for $2.78 and was paid without incident. When questioned about the transaction, D stated, "There's got to be somebody in there. I could swear I heard somebody cough, like they had a cold or something." When the topic of the hand was further pushed, D responded, "Look, it's not that big a deal. Just a hand. Got all 5 fingers, looked healthy, certainly not dead or whatever. B just lost it. Never trusted that guy much anyways." June 6, 2012. No test. Personnel D, logged at May 30th, 2012, was found dead in her holding block at 7:40 in the morning. Approximate time of death is 4:30 a.m. Autopsy shows that D died of strangulation, and light bruising on the neck confirms this. D's death has been marked as suicide, as it did not share a cell with any other personnel, and their cell door showed no sign of forced entry. Item number SCP-1953, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. Instances of SCP-1953 may be kept in a standard containment locker at Site-20. Individuals infected with SCP-1953-1 are to be housed in a secure containment cell at Bio-Research Area 17. Description: SCP-1953 is the collective designation of 26 objects commonly found in bedrooms, such as pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, and alarm clocks. SCP-1953-1 refers to an unknown number of bipedal beings measuring 4 cm on average and resembling the American cockroach, which appear when a human subject enters REM sleep within 5 meters of an instance of SCP-1953. Evidence suggests instances of SCP-1953-1 are capable of reading and understanding spoken English, but so far have not responded to attempts to communicate. When such an event occurs, instances of SCP-1953-1 will search for any surrounding human subjects and attempt to enter their mouth. SCP-1953 instances exhibit an unexplained ability to calm living human subjects, preventing them from waking up or reacting while this occurs. Once inside, instances of SCP-1953-1 will move towards the stomach and settle there. Any attempt to surgically remove instances of SCP-1953-1 fails due to warped space inside the stomach, which results in the arm of the individual attempting surgery to appear outside of the body. Despite this, endoscopes can still be sent inside affected subjects. After they settle inside the stomach, instances of SCP-1953-1 will begin building several constructs using pieces of food ingested by the affected individual in question. Instances of SCP-1953-1 secrete an unknown bacteria from their abdomen, which reconstructs chewed food and prevents the stomach acid and bile salts from working. Occasionally, an affected individual will begin sleepwalking and ingesting objects that would normally be dangerous to consume. They cause no harm due to the warped space. It is suspected that instances of SCP-1953-1 cause these behaviors to expand their art galleries. There appear to be multiple competing schools of art among instances of SCP-1953-1. The difference between schools is based on the characteristics like the types of food used and artistic genre. Footnotes: so far, 7 schools have been identified and designated SCP-1953-1A through G. Examples include SCP-1953-1-A, Pasta interactivus, and SCP-1953-1-D, Healthy History, responsible for creating Bloody Inevitability and Surdzok Long Antenna the 5th and the 3rd War Against the Rebels, respectively. See the Addendum. Addendum: Sample artistic pieces found inside affected subjects. I will be explaining the title of the piece and then their descriptions. Beauties in white. Several dresses made of rice and onions and glued together with whipped cream. Blood Inevitability. A toboggan made of various types of pasta with a pool of tomato sauce at the end. Surdzok Long Antenna the 5th and the 3rd War Against the Rebels. Several models of armored instances of SCP-1953-1 riding beetle-like animals and carrying swords into battle, with one side being led by an instance with very long antennae. All are made of pieces of fruit, the battleground of the miniature volcano which releases Caesar salad. Until when? A ball of blue toothpaste covered in broccoli. The broccoli are almost all cut apart and have expressions of pain carved onto them. Ancient gods. Several models of instances of SCP-1953-1 hiding inside a cave, both made of cookie dough. On the outside are replicas of flying, disc-shaped beings or vehicles dropping balls of red cookie dough on giant, roach-like animals made of bone fragments. The Birth of the Monster. A sculpture made out of various types of cheese. It resembles the mass of the limbs of instances of SCP-1953-1. Any instances which approach the sculpture are grabbed by their limbs and absorbed into it. The absorbed instance then appears on the top of Bloody Inevitability. Our Future. A classroom made out of Doritos. The students and teacher are absent. The blackboard has been replaced with the following message, written with ketchup: "No class today, go play video games." The nice guy shakes his shiny shoes. A toy robot with exaggerated feet would run around stepping on animated models of instances of SCP-1953-1 made out of mayonnaise. Problem? Animated models of instances of SCP-1953-1 made out of bread wearing lab coats and orange jumpsuits inside a glass frog. Welcome financial advice. An animated chocolate cake with a mouth. When instances of SCP-1953-1 drop their own money into the mouth, it releases a note which reads, "Stop wasting money." Good listener. A wall made of strawberry cheesecake. It contains several heads of instances of SCP-1953-1. When instances attempt to talk to the wall, it responds by singing 99 bottles of beer backwards. Family Trip. A real miniature slot car track. Each car is filled with the fake antennae of instances of SCP-1953-1. When the track is turned on, each car starts moving and the antennae start having arguments over whether or not they have already reached their destination before the cars collide with each other. Source of power is unknown. Happy Hour. A strip club made out of Mentos. Several instances of SCP-1953-1 are dancing around a live turkey wearing women's underwear while Ray Charles' Mess Around plays on a radio. Context unknown. Item Number SCP-2170. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Regular exposure to SCP-2170 is necessary for its continued existence and containment. Site-2170 is publicly known as the Clown Motel, staffed by Foundation personnel for the purpose of memetic inoculation to prepare researchers and agents for SCP-2170 exposure. In order for the memetic inoculation to be effective, all staff at Site-2170 must have a sincere appreciation of classical clown imagery and materials. Agents or personnel who find clowns disturbing or not amusing must not be allowed to visit Site-2170. Research personnel are to spend at least 8 hours off-duty in Site-2170 for exposure to SCP-2170. For safety purposes, please view the following image inoculation before reading about SCP-2170. Recommended viewing time is 30 seconds. Description: SCP-2170 are non-physical memetic entities which are experienced within the abandoned mine in Topeka, Nevada. As memetic entities, they exist within the senses of nearby sentient beings. Exposed personnel describe them as whispering voices and fleeting images. The entities themselves are non-malicious and only seek interaction for the purpose of self-preservation, but exposure is detrimental to the long-term physical and mental health of those who perceive them unless, for undetermined reasons, subjects have recently enjoyed thoughts about clowns. There is no direct relation between clowns and SCP-2170 beyond this fact, and SCP-2170 expresses distaste for clown iconography. Symptoms of mild SCP-2170 exposure begin with an inability to accurately read written language due to auditory and visual hallucinations. Continued exposure results in paranoia, increased hostility, self-harming, and seizures. Sustained unprotected exposure to SCP-2170 leads to death in most cases except for individuals diagnosed with sociopathic tendencies. Please view the following image inoculation before continuing. Recommended viewing time is 30 seconds. Symptoms 100% lethal to adult males. After 24 hours, body tissue becomes cancerous and generates sufficient heat to burn skin. SCP-2170 entities are dormant when not being perceived, and will cease to exist if not perceived on a regular basis. SCP-2170 enjoys regular communication with trained Foundation staff. Communication with SCP-2170 entities is best achieved indirectly via written messages. Although SCP-2170 cannot physically alter written material, they can alter a reader's perception sufficiently to communicate. This exposure is safe provided inoculation measures are carefully maintained. Most information regarding the history and nature of SCP-2170 have been given by the entities themselves. Local historical records do not corroborate the testimony of SCP-2170, and despite the benign nature of the entities, no information that they provide is to be taken as fact until physically verified off-site by unexposed personnel. Please view the following image inoculation before continuing. As mimetic entities, they are capable of existing within written documentation. Therefore, all further references to SCP-2170 must be deleted from Foundation records immediately, specifically including new research regarding exposure. The following material are communications and claims by SCP-2170 entities that have been transcribed by on-site staff, including annotations from independent research. Please note that as SCP-2170 is mimetic in nature, even sanitized logs of communication to SCP-2170 can trigger symptoms of exposure. If you experience any feelings of unease or confusion, please stare at the following emergency image inoculation to counteract SCP-2170 exposure. You need to love clowns, but nobody loves clowns, not even us. Date, statements from 2170 in context, and verified or not verified. Cracks in the night sky, falling stars open new worlds they crumple in fire. Regarding first contact with human consciousness, see Document 2170-AA regarding Tonopah Death Plague. Verified. Foundation quarantine successful in preventing mimetic outbreak. Cover story of pneumonia disseminated. 1903. Distrust builds. Whispering sees brother turn upon brother. Claimed by SCP-2170 that they were indirectly responsible for rioting miners. Not verified. Foundation surveillance indicates riots were between local workers and Chinese immigrants over mundane issues. Participants unexposed to SCP-2170. 1910. Paradise found in a shining home. Everything that man and Whisper could wish for in harmony. Claimed that a team of miners had found the secret Golden City at SCP-2170. Not verified. Agents Culver and Fredericks KIA an expedition to find location. No rumors among local miners of such a discovery. 1919. As Brother turns away unsatisfied, new blood runs untapped deeper within the land. Claims of undiscovered veins of silver and gold within mine. Not verified, later determined to be hoaxed by SCP-2170 to increase exposure. 1931. A lost behemoth dies in the desert. A pale mass haunts the night in vengeance. We are afraid. Verified. A circus elephant from a traveling show escaped its enclosure and fell into a mine shaft. One of the clowns went on a drunken rampage afterwards. Containment procedures updated. 1940. We foresee a stunning light that makes the ground boil. Salvation comes with a price. Prediction of terrible destruction which will result in steady sustenance. Verified. Reference predicted nuclear testing at the Tonopah test range which began. The test range becomes the primary economic activity within Tonopah. Now, we just want to talk. It's true. 19. I will kiss your shadow while you sleep. Verified. They will kiss your shadow and you will be able to feel it. 19. Molesting a ham will go unpunished. Context unknown. Not verified. The ham was of age and gave consent. 1790. Sweet sale, free internet, good rates, pets okay, doesn't matter, everyone hates him. Verified. The motel's rates are very competitive but business is slow because of all the damn clowns. 3450. Truckers okay. Truckers are not okay. 993. Change the channel, change the channel, change the channel. Verified. He is educational. You would make a tasty soup. Verified. The broth created by stewing your flesh and bones would create a nutritious meal for a large group on a cold, cold day. Addendum. My favorite color is clear, that way I can always see you. Verified.